Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back for a Wednesday edition of the Steel City Sports Report, where we talk everything Steelers, Penguins, and Pirates. I am your host, Brady Vini. Hope all of you are enjoying your hump day. Lots to talk about again here this evening. The Pittsburgh Steelers having one of their final practices before they get on a jet down to, or I should say, over to New Jersey, where they will take on the New York Jets this weekend. Some things to talk about that went down at that practice today. Who participated, who didn't, what's the injury report looking like? We heard from Aaron Rodgers, what all he had to say. We will discuss that to kick off the show here in a matter of moments. The second big topic of today will be talking about the Pittsburgh Pirates. They last night taking game one of their three-game set against the LA Dodgers, and also a change in what is supposed to go down this evening. We will not get to see something that is pretty much once in a lifetime. If you're a fan of the Pittsburgh Pirates and wanted to see this thing happen in PNC Park, unfortunately, will not happen. We will discuss all of that and much more here in a matter of moments, along with any other news stories that we happen to come across along the way. Before we officially get started here, I do want to say, if you are new here to the channel, please subscribe and turn on notifications so that you never miss when I am live again. I would also appreciate it if you leave a like, share this live stream, and leave a comment on this live stream as well. Any thoughts, questions, or opinions that you may have, get those in the comment section and we can interact that way. Also, if you would go give the channel a follow on Facebook, Instagram, and X at Steel City SR, I would appreciate that as well. And tune back in later tonight for a new edition of SCSR 60. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, real quick, in the comment section, Concepts back. What is up, Concepts? Glad to have you here as always. Going to kick off today, just like I said, with some Pittsburgh Steelers news and a bit of an update on what all went down at practice today for the black and gold. Three main things we were watching. One, did Cam Heyward participate? Two, what are some of the other players dealing with injury? What did their participation looks like? And three, what does any players have to say heading into this weekend's first game of the year? We got at least some answers to all three of those questions. The first one here, Cam Heyward. As you see here, ladies and gentlemen, despite his comments on his podcast yesterday morning, Heyward, the team captain, out there practicing in full today, full pads, full helmet, the whole 9 yards. He is out there, was out there on the field today leading drills like he normally does. Again, this whole saga, it takes another, confusing step. Heyward says one thing yesterday. We'll see his exact words on if he'll play this Sunday. Also said that there has been no update on, anything else going on with him. I assume he's talking about his contract there. Mike Tomlin yesterday in his press conference said that he expects Heyward to play, kind of the way that question was framed to him. Tomlin could have answered that simply from like a health standpoint, that Heyward is good enough to play. So after what all went down yesterday, we were looking at it today and we got the answer. Heyward's out there and practicing. A pretty strange way, in my opinion, of him going about this whole I want more money and I'm threatening not to play situation. He started practicing with the team again. What was it, last week? He's continuing to practice with the team today ahead of their game on Sunday. I wonder if him practicing, if this is him, continuing to show good faith with the team, like saying, hey, I'm out there and practicing, like we still got a bunch of money, just slide a little bit up here for me. Or, if a deal that we do not know about has already been done. I wonder if quietly behind the door, the Steelers have assured him, hey, sometime today or tomorrow, you're going to get that extra couple million that you wanted. So we will see what goes on along this front. Did not hear from Cam today. So ever since that last interview he had in Latrobe, I think it was the first day that he came, that it was reported that he was holding in for more money And he said, I can't justify playing at the number I'm currently playing at. We haven't heard from Heyward since. I thought was scheduled to speak today, but turns out it is tomorrow. So maybe we'll see if Cam fulfills his duties to the media and speaks tomorrow on what all is going on with the team. For him practicing today, and I assume there wouldn't be any reason why he wouldn't practice tomorrow. And nor do I, expect him to blow off the media tomorrow. I would expect a deal or a revised contract with Heyward that would give him some extra money will come at some point tomorrow. And instead of getting every single question thrown his way being about his contract situation and if he'll play on Sunday, I think the Steelers and Heyward, they'll hash something out between tonight and tomorrow. That's where my feelings on that situation is. And also it would help the team if it gets done, because then that takes away the distractions of other players on the team as well. Keanu Benton today, he was asked if Heyward would play on Sunday. He said that's a question for Cam. So we'll see. Heyward still holding or not holding in anymore. That's over. Still practicing with the team, despite, saying who knows if I'll play. So we'll see what else comes of it. Some other little notes and tidbits from Steelers practice here today. One of the players that we were looking at intently to see if they would be good to go on Sunday, Nick Herbig, he returned to practice today, was doing some individual stuff off to the side on Monday. He was back in full pads and helmet as well, just like Heyward, continuing to work his way back from a hamstring injury, but being a seemingly full go. He was officially listed as limited, but taking part in team activities in full gear, that's a positive sign that Herbig will be good to go on Sunday. 2 did not practices on the Steelers' official practice report here for today. Of course, Derek Harmon, who's already been ruled out by Mike Tomlin with his knee injury, he did not practice today. So no shock there. Also, another no surprise, corner Corey Trice, who is on IR right now with a designation to return. He has a hamstring injury. Those two, the only DNPs today. No shock whatsoever from them. Herbig, limited today. I'm positive within the next day or so, if the Steelers continue to practice, you might see Herbig in that final practice be a full go on the practice report. So good things on the field. Heyward practicing, Herbig back working. And off the field, we also heard today from Aaron Rodgers. He spoke with the media before his return to MetLife Stadium this weekend against his former organization for 2 years in the New York Jets, an organization that scorned him and unceremoniously pretty much told him to piss off. If you remember, back way early in the preseason, the Jets literally had Rodgers fly from his home in California to New Jersey. He was in the Jets building for like 5 minutes, and then they said, we're moving in a different direction. Rodgers, furious with that, not the decision for them to move on, but furious that they had him travel across the country to, for them to tell him, hey, you're not the guy anymore. You don't got it. You're washed. So Rodgers today, with everything that has gone on with the Jets and his unceremonious exit from that dumpster fire of an organization, the first question he was asked today in his media availability, he was asked, is there anything more for you opening up against the Jets, or is it another regular season game? And Rodgers, his response, yeah, it's week 1. Now, there's a little bit more behind that quote. We just talked about how the Jets did him dirty, having him travel quite a ways to tell him they're not going to bring him back. Earlier this week, Aaron Glenn, new head coach for the New York Jets, took a persona non grata approach when talking about facing Aaron Rodgers. Pretty much any Rodgers question, whether it was going to be about Rodgers' exit from the organization, which Glenn was a part of, or about facing Rodgers in general, scheming up for him. Glenn did not want to say anything about Rodgers. Rodgers, being the petty guy that he is, Sometimes it's good. Other times it is fun and you love it. This is one of those scenarios. Also, sure, in his inner circle, he hears almost everything that's talked about him. He's taken the same approach. Say nothing about the Jets. Goes back to that old golden rule we learned as kids. If you have nothing nice to say, don't say it at all. That's what Rodgers' approach is to talking about the Jets ahead of their matchup this weekend. A couple other things that Rodgers mentioned in his media availability today. Said that despite he and DK Metcalf and some others on the offensive side of the ball not participating at all in the preseason games, he says that he has a good handle on the offense at this point. That is a fantastic answer. Much needed and much comforting, different answer than one he had a couple of weeks ago when he said that he's still learning the finer details of the offense. So looks like he's ready to fully go out there and have the full playbook arsenal in his repertoire on Sunday. And last thing Rodgers mentioned, worth noting here today, talked about his weapons once again, mentioned Darnell Washington again today. It seems like almost in every single interview that Rodgers does, he's talking about Darnell Washington, a guy who he has had lavishing praise for since day one here in Pittsburgh. Said, I know there's a lot of talk of if he's playing the right position, talking about should Washington be a tackle or should he stay at tight end. I threw him a bunch of balls in the red zone, and I'm just thinking to myself, he's definitely in the right position. He's so big, so athletic. Love hearing that. And that answer right there from Rodgers makes it all that much more comforting when you think about the Steelers and their lack of a true wide receiver too. Where they lack in wide receiver, they are making it up for in a big way at the tight end position. If you have Rodgers talking about Darnell Washington this way, who I would not be shocked if Washington caught 20 balls in his first handful of years here in Pittsburgh. Rodgers talking about Washington that way as a big red zone threat, which, I mean, that's just smart football. 6'7", 300-pound tight end, pretty much unguardable. Just toss it up to the big man, let him go get it. I love hearing that. And also, you got Pat Freiermuth and Jonnu Smith, who they're both going to get their touches. Smith coming off a career year. Freiermuth, we know all about him, expecting a step up in production for him this year. So Rodgers making me, at least me, feeling a little bit better about the Steelers and their offensive weapons, and that we may get to see this offense, unlike recent years, get off to a hot start for once in week one. Still expecting, a low scoring game. I think that's pretty par for the course across most games across the NFL to begin the season. But instead of, putting up 16, 18 points, escaping with a, one score win, maybe the Steelers can put up 24, 25, 28, something like that, get an average, at least, NFL score total in week one. So looking forward to that for the Steelers. They'll have at least one more practice. And then I think a walkthrough on Friday before then Saturday they will get on their flight over, or yeah, they'll take their flight. I was going to say that's a hell of a bus ride to New Jersey, but they'll get on their flight, be in New Jersey, and then Sunday the fun begins. Hope you all join me back here for that. Real quick, let's go to the comment section real quick again. Ron Owens, welcome, Ron. Who will get most reps in place of Derek Harmon? That question was answered by Mike Tomlin yesterday there, Ron. With Harmon out, he said that we are most likely going to get a sort of fill in the hole by committee approach there on the defensive line. One thing that makes me at ease, at least a little bit, with the loss of Harmon is the performance of Y.A. Black in the preseason. He hasn't fully converted to a nose tackle like we all expect him to at some point in his NFL career. He's still playing the defensive end spot that he played in college. So I think he can fill in for Harmon at least for this one game. But depending on who's out there, you could see Y.A. Black play out there. Isaiah Loudermilk, even though he usually fills in for Cam Heyward, he could slide over there for a rep or two. If you really want to, Keanu Benton, he has some experience at defensive end. You can kick him out a little bit, put Daniel Ekwale in there at defensive tackle. So a committee approach will be needed, and that is the appropriate measure that the Steelers will be taking here this weekend. Hopefully it's only just for one weekend, like some of us are speculating. Maybe Harmon, it's about a month-long injury. His knee sprain that he has, he's already got roughly 2 weeks in that recovery process out of the way. Hopefully he only misses this weekend and will be good to go for the home opener against the Seahawks. Not this weekend, next weekend. A couple other comments here. Flacco, welcome as always. Tom Brady likes Aaron Rodgers, so if Brady is good with it, I am. Yeah, I did see that. Brady giving some good praise to Aaron Rodgers, calling him one of the best throwers of the football. Actually, I think he's called Rodgers the best thrower of the football. And I know other people will chime in, oh, what about Dan Marino? What about this guy, that guy? But Rodgers, the arm talent is still there. If this offensive line can keep him upright, I believe him when he says that he has not a mastery yet of the offense, but he's got the, majority of it memorized. That makes me feel a whole lot better. If he's got the mentals, he's still got the arm. Just need to keep him upright and watch him do some magic here. A couple other comments here, concepts in there. I really want to see Rodgers prove the world wrong. He was better than people claim last year. Jets offense was awful last year, and he still produced. And that was the end of the season for Rodgers. Really, the Jets were pretty much down and out of it early on in the season, which was a dumpster fire. Fired Robert Saleh, fired their general manager. They brought in Devontae Adams as a Hail Mary to save their season. That didn't work out. But I would say pretty much after that Steelers game last year when Rodgers went up against this defense and threw up 2 interceptions to Beanie Bishop, I think since then, the Jets, with really nothing to lose, Rodgers balled out. Hopefully, I know it's hard for, teams, let alone individual players, to carry over their production and their hot streak to end one season into the next. But I'm hoping that's the case with Rodgers, that what we saw from him last year was him fully being recovered from that Achilles injury, which I think if you go and ask anyone out there who's tore their Achilles before, it takes, it's 1 year to, be functional, but it's 2 years to feel, fully comfortable in your body again. Hopefully that was the case for Rodgers. The team threw the ball more, so he was able to air it out more. So, I'm hoping, just like you Concepts and you Flacco said, that we will get to see Rodgers prove a lot of doubters wrong and defy age, just like you mentioned, Flacco, Tom Brady. He defied age, was at 44, 45 years old, went out there and won a Super Bowl. We've also seen some other quarterbacks throughout recent NFL history going back about a decade or so and their careers on high notes. About a couple of decades, actually. Brett Favre, Rodgers' mentor, took the Vikings to the NFC Championship game. Peyton Manning went out on top with a Super Bowl. Brady went out on top with a Super Bowl, like I mentioned. So we'll see what happens. Hoping they prove us wrong as well. THP here in the comments. Buddy, we traded Micah. The boys are resetting. Finally, Christ, didn't get enough. Covered that. I think, what was it, Friday? Is it Friday night? I think that was the day after I covered it. But yeah, Thursday night last week. Approaching the 1 week anniversary of that trade, THP. Rough look for you guys. Only getting 2 first-round picks back for Micah and Kenny Clark, who's 30-year-old defensive tackle. Not a good look for you guys. I'm going to be honest. I'm trying to find a bright spot in the situation. The only bright spot that I can see is, hey, now your Cowboys have 2 first-round picks in each of the next 2 drafts. And with Micah gone, I mean, sure, you brought back Kenny Clark to stop the run, as Jerry Jones liked to say, but at least if you guys do go 6-11, like you're saying here, 2 first-round picks with a 6-11 record, you could be pretty much at will to trade up for whatever quarterback you like, and it is going to be a hell of a deep draft class for quarterbacks this year. Drew Aller, potentially Arch Manning, but I think after what we saw from him last weekend, might be best for him to stay in college for a little while. But other than Arch Manning, Drew Aller, Garrett Nussmeier, know he had a rough weekend, but Cade Klubnik, Lenoris Sellers looks like a dude, Sam Levitt, bunch of other guys as well. So your Cowboys, they do go 6-11. At least you'll be in a half decent position to get whatever quarterback you like and finally move on from Dak. A few other comments here. Flacco again. Malachi Corley got released from the Jets. I had high hopes for him. Yes, he did. And guess what, Flacco? Corley, I thought, hey, coming out of the draft a couple years ago, he was, a third-round pick. I think he got drafted ahead of Roman Wilson, if I'm not mistaken, 2 years ago. He was being compared to Deebo Samuel, and things didn't work out in New York with the Jets. Par for the course with pretty much a bunch of players with the Jets. They're one of those hellhole franchises where it's really hard for you to make a solid NFL career in. And best part is, Flacco, he chose. He had a bunch of teams, calling him for his services. He chose to go to the Cleveland Browns. So talk about I got to get out of this hellhole known as the New York Jets franchise. What do I see here? Let me go to a bigger hellhole in the Cleveland Browns. I went from, getting cut by the New York Jets to now I'm going to go see who am I going to catch the ball from. Shadur Sanders, Dylan Gabriel, Joe Flacco, I don't know, but that's hilarious. Tampa Bay Buccaneer Stadium, 7 minutes away from me. That's cool. That is a hell of a trip right there for you, Flacco. Wish I did that. Still have faith in the Cowboys offense, defense, not so much. Are they in? I know it's not as bad. They're kind of like the NFC's version of the Cincinnati Bengals now. A high-powered offense. So they're kind of like the Bengals, except the Cowboys offense slightly worse than the Bengals offense, but their defense, even with Parsons no longer there, slightly better than the Bengals. I mean, the Cowboys, they're just the Bengals of the NFC now. We got a quarterback on a big contract with 2 brand name receivers in Lamb and Pickens, but our defense, we don't know if they're going to be able to, stop a cold anymore. Cowboys got a great young backup right now, in my opinion. Talking about Joe Milton, he's down there. I mean, sure, dude's got a cannon, but that howitzer got its, aim off a bit. Cowboys will compete, but man, tough spot. The way they told Rodgers he's cut tells me that New Jersey front office is a shit show. Yeah, I mean, it's not like, and that was the new regime as well. That was, I don't even know who their GM is, but I know Aaron Glenn's their head coach. Like, you couldn't tell me that couldn't have been a 10-minute Zoom meeting or a 5-minute phone call to Rodgers. He didn't need to spend the money. Oh, I'm sure he got a private jet, but he could have saved the money, could have saved his time, stayed in California. You could have just said, hey, we're going to move in a different direction. Could have done it respectfully, and that could have been it. But nope, the Jets, even with their new front office, took a sleaze bag approach to it. Went from dirty jers to steamy to talk about the Cowboys. Cowboys D is going to look sloppy, and O-line is going to be iffy. Joe Milton is not good right now. Who are you? Who was who mentioned that talking about concepts there? Cowboys backup right now. Yeah, Joe Milton, not good. Truth, Massachusetts, welcome back. Do you think Steelers could draft Eli Holstein, or is he another Kenny Pickett? So I'm gonna be honest here. I'm a Pitt homer, proud Pitt alum. Still debating on here. I may or may not go live for the backyard brawl here in a couple weeks. I love Eli Holstein. He came in last year for Pitt, had a hell of a start to the year, then unfortunately got hurt. I think Kenny Pickett left a big wound in my heart and in a ton of, Pittsburgh Steeler and Pitt Panthers hearts to where I don't want to go down that road. I love Holstein. I think he's a underrated quarterback that, if he puts it all together, can get Pitt to an ACC championship game, but he's still got to develop a couple of tools here that really makes him stand out, especially this draft. If he were to come out in this draft, I mean, you're looking at him as a day 3 pick, maybe a late day 2 pick with all the other quarterbacks there. He'd have to go on a hell of a run to be in the top quarterback conversation. If I were him, I'd stay another year in college after this year. He's, I think, a sophomore, I believe, so he can always go back. But we'll see how he develops. I'm not willing to, put all of my chips in on the Steelers taking Eli Holstein for multiple reasons. One, because the Kenny Pickett stank is still fresh on our bodies, and also Holstein, want to see him develop more. He's off to a okay start in his collegiate career, but got to see more from him. Eagles by 13 tomorrow. They'll run the ball well. Sigh. 29-16. I mean, I wonder how Kenny Clark's going to get acclimated to, that defensive front. Because they're going to have a hell of a time. I think Landon Dickerson, the starting left guard for the Eagles, is now a full go. So you got a fully healthy, for the most part, Eagles offensive line plus Saquon Barkley. I think you're right there, THP. The Eagles, they're just going to run the ball down the throat of the Cowboys for all night. We'll be excited to watch that game. Tune into it tomorrow night, though. Just real NFL football. It's going to be fun to watch again. As long as I think I'd be cool with the Eagles winning. As long as CeeDee Lamb falls out, he's on one of my fantasy teams. I'm cool with that. I'm a Pitt alum as well. Still thought Kenny was a reach. Agree with your take there. Holstein has to prove a lot more before that. Yeah, agreed. If the Steelers are going to go down the that road again of taking a local kid, like you say, their concepts, they're going to need to prove indefinitely that they're the guy and that they got some special talent to them. And I'll even say the same thing, bringing this back to the Steelers, Drew Aller. I mean, can he, just like his coach, James Franklin, show up big in the biggest games and not pee down his leg? I mean, sure, he's got the physical attributes. He's, I think 6'5", kind of like that Josh Allen build, even more so than Will Howard is. But can he put together the production when it matters the most? That's going to be my big critique of Aller. And before the Steelers take him, I want to see him do well, and not against teams like Nevada, who they just blown out, or whatever the hell else, crappy small school team they're going to play this weekend. So we'll see. Linderbaum and Will McDuffie were right there at 20. Missed opportunity in 2022. Ramsey and Frazier, please fill that void. Yeah, I mean, I'm happy we got Zach Frazier, like you mentioned, their concepts. Even, Linderbaum's a good center, and I would have been happy if they would have taken him. It was the year before that that I was pounding the table for the Steelers to take a center, because you remember a year before that when Najee Harris was taken in the first round. Like, okay. And then they went back and took Pat Fryermuth. I love Muth, but if the Steelers, they could have traded up and got Creed Humphrey. So that one probably stings for me. Trent McDuffie, yeah, but I'll take still Ramsey over him even today. Need Dak to throw a ton. Yeah, that's why I took him. CD Lamb, that is. Dak's going to still throw the ball a ton, especially with who the hell you got at running back. Javonte Williams, a reclamation project. I don't think you guys got Deuce Vaughn anymore. You got Jaden Blue from Texas, but yep, we'll see. Did have another fantasy draft side note last night, and I think I was picking fourth. And somehow, some way, don't ask me how the hell this happened. I took Justin Jefferson at 4. He was still there. I think it was Chase. It was Jamar Chase, Saquon, and Bijan Robinson. They went 1, 2, and 3. So I picked up Jefferson at 4. And then I'm like, all right, I was eyeing like Derrick Henry in the second round because he's been going in a lot of second round mocks. Amon-Ra St. Brown fell to me. So you're telling me I got Jay Jettas and Amon-Ra in the same draft, 1 and 2? I was stunned and overjoyed. Unless the Eagles run control. Had Dak definitely going over 30 attempts. Yeah. Kind of what their whole MO is. Throw the ball first, run second. 9 of you in here right now. Welcome to the live stream. If you are new here to the channel, please subscribe and turn on notifications so that you never miss when I am live again. Up to 508 subscribers here on the channel. Gained 1 new subscriber over the first half hour of the stream. Thank you to you that did that. Also to all of you in here, leave a like, share this live stream, and comment in the comment section, just like Flacco, THP, Concepts, a bunch of other guys in the comment section right now. I'd appreciate it. Gonna keep things chugging along here in a second. We will get back into football here in a moment, but for a couple of minutes, we're going to switch gears here and go over to the baseball team, the Pittsburgh Pirates. I have Pirates pregame on right here beside me here in little over a half an hour. The Bucks and LA Dodgers, they will do battle in game 2 of their 3-game series. Last night, the Buccos and the Dodgers putting on an offensive showdown. It was Carmen Mlodzinski on the bump for the Bucks against the veteran, one of the greatest pitchers of my childhood and of this generation, Clayton Kershaw. Mlodzinski on the bump for the Buccos. Had a 1-2-3 top of the first inning, bottom of the first inning. And I was live for it. You guys saw my reaction to this live last night if you were here. The Buccos, BTA, belt to ass on Clayton Kershaw for at least that first inning. Got bases loaded with nobody out. Tommy Pham had a 2 RBI double down the right field line that got past the right fielder. Andrew McCutchen, an infield hit, made it 3-0. Alexander Canario, with a sacrifice fly. 4-0 Pirates after 1 inning of play. Clayton Kershaw, interesting stat here, allowed a total of 6 runs in 28 2/3 innings pitched in the month of August. Heading into last night's ball game, he allowed 4 runs to the Bucks in the first inning. They just jumped all over them. Loved seeing that from the Bucco Bats. Again, proving that if this team can just have an average offense, that's all we're asking for Ben Cherington. At this point, I think you're going to be back here, unfortunately, as this team's GM. Just build an average offense, and this team is going to be so much better, at least aesthetically, to watch. So, the Bucks jumping on Clayton Kershaw. They made it 4-0. I want to say Carmen Mlodzinski only went 2 innings last night. After that, Bubba Chandler came in, was excited to see the Buccos' top pitching prospect against this highly touted Dodgers lineup. And the kid, for the first time in his big league career, got into some trouble. Chandler, in his first inning against the Dodgers, faced Shohei Ohtani, Ohtani hit, I think, his hardest ball of the season, the third hardest ball across baseball this year. A no-doubt line drive home run over the Clemente wall, 120 miles an hour off the bat. Chandler continued working through the middle innings, faced center fielder Andy Pages for the Dodgers, gave up a 3-run shot that tied up the ball game at 4. Game remained tied there for a little bit. Henry Davis then stepped up to bat. Davis, entering last night, was on an 0 for his last 42 at-bats streak with runners in scoring position. Bottom of the 6th, he finally came through. Runners at the corners with 1 out. Had a single into right field. Broke that streak. Glad to see Hank finally get that monkey off his back. Jared Triolo, who continues to swing a hot bat, did it again last night. Had a 2 RBI double. That made it 7-4. After that, Chandler came out of the ball game. Bullpen came in and had some work. I think Kyle Nicholas was in the ball game when Mookie Betts got into scoring position, and he got brought home on a ground out. That made it 7-5. Ball game ended up being 7-6 that inning off of a absolutely horrendous call by the home plate umpire. I believe it was Isaac Matson who was pitching catcher Will Smith for the Dodgers. Clearly a foul ball right into the glove of Henry Davis. Davis was able to squeeze it. The home plate umpire called the pitch a ball, did not call it a strike, did not call it a foul tip catch by Davis. Completely missed it. Donnie Kelly came out, gave the umpire an earful. 1 pitch later, if not 2 pitches later, Smith singled in Freddie Freeman. That made it 7-6. I got to tell you, if I were Donnie Kelly, I'd probably be up and out of the dugout before that run even came across home plate, and I probably would have gotten tossed from that game. Just a horrendous call by that home plate umpire. I forget his name, but I saw a video that he, at least in the past, I'm not sure if it was last year or this year, he and Donnie Kelly have had issues before at home plate. So whoever that umpire is, I forget his name again. I think it's Nick Lentz, now that I'm seeing here. Avoid him behind home plate if you're the Bucks for the foreseeable future, or if you do see him, understand that there is bound to be a Donnie Kelly blow-up at some point in the ball game. Thankfully, that run that came across to score here for the Dodgers that made it 7-6 did not hurt the Buccos. Tommy Pham got on base. A wild pitch advanced him to third base. O'Neal Cruz brought him home on a fielder's choice. Buccos ended up scoring 2 runs in that inning. Dodgers got another run in the 9th inning. Shohei Ohtani almost hit another home run to center field, but it stayed in the ballpark off of Dennis Santana. Santana was able to close it down the whole way again from there. 9-7, as you see, the final score last night between the Bucks and Dodgers. Buccos up 1-0 on the team buying baseball. Game 2, like I said, coming up here at 6:40. Lineup tonight for the Buccos. Jared Triolo again leading off at shortstop. Spencer Horwitz at first base. Brian Reynolds in right. Tommy Pham in left. Andrew McCutchen is the designated hitter. Nick Gonzalez at second base. O'Neal Cruz in center field. Joey Bart does the catching, and Cam Devaney rounds out the lineup at third base. A solid lineup tonight behind Braxton Ashcraft, who will make another start. Ashcraft, we were going to tune in tonight. Well, we still will, just because, it's the Dodgers and you want to see how even the Bucks do against them. But Ashcraft tonight, we were supposed to see him go up against a hell of an opponent on the mound. Shohei Ohtani was scheduled to pitch tonight for the Dodgers. Unfortunately, that will not take place, as 3 hours ago, it was reported by one of the Dodgers beat writers that Ohtani was scheduled to pitch today, but now Emmett Sheehan will be on the bump for the Dodgers. Many of us were wondering what was going on. Some of us originally were speculating, hey, maybe Dave Roberts and Donnie Kelly hashed something out where, hey, throw Sheehan tonight against Ashcraft, and then tomorrow we get a dream matchup, as you see there, possible matchup of the year between Paul Skeens and Shohei Ohtani. Turns out ultimately Ohtani is under the weather, according to Dave Roberts, who, by the way, was at the Steelers practice facility today. I wonder what all that was about. Maybe he and Mike Tomlin, good buddies. But Ohtani not pitching tonight. I don't even know. Is he in the lineup tonight? Let me see here. Is Ohtani in the lineup tonight for the Dodgers? Yes, he still is. Still batting leadoff at DH, so he's under the weather enough not to pitch, but not enough to hold him out from the ball game tonight. And Roberts did say that Ohtani will not pitch tomorrow either, so no Skeens Ohtani matchup, unfortunately. And but hey, at least it's still a level matchup tomorrow between Skeens and Blake Snell. But that's the latest news ahead of tonight's ball game. 6:40 first pitch. We'll be excited, and hopefully the Bucks can continue this hot streak they're on and take down the hated LA Dodgers. We'll see. Back to the comments here real quick. Concepts again, switching us back over to football, which is where we will begin the extra Pittsburgh sports news of the day here in a moment. Spot on, love Muth, and a good pick. Creed Humphrey went 55 or 56, I think. Muth was 52. Okay, so Humphrey went after him. But yeah, just imagine how different things would have been. I love Muth. He's had an all right career as a tight end so far, but you get Creed Humphrey, then all of a sudden, you still took Dan Moore, but you take Creed Humphrey, then Big Ben isn't, getting the ball out as soon as he gets it, and he isn't, worrying for his life back in the pocket with Kendrick Green, who they drafted a round or so later. Ben isn't fighting for his life at that point. So, Creed Humphrey, not sure if he would have been as good as he is in KC in Pittsburgh, but would have been a hell of an upgrade to that offensive line at the time, which was sort of a changing of the guard. Older guys fading off or retiring, new blood coming in. Would have been nice to have Humphrey there to build around. But hey, Zach Frazier, we at least got him. He's looking like he's going to carry that lineage of great centers to come through the Pittsburgh Steelers franchise. THP here, Chargers running back. Guy from NC, going to be good. Rookie of the year, in my opinion. Interesting there, THP. He, just like how I mentioned a couple minutes ago, how I got Amon-Ra St. Brown and Justin Jefferson on the same team. I believe I took him in that draft as well. Hang on, let me pull up my team here real quick. Probably one of the more solid fantasy teams that I've built in a while. It does come with a caveat. There was some moron there who was just taking Detroit Lions players. I think he was a Lions fanatic. But my team here got like 3 different teams. My team here, Jaden Daniels at QB, Kyron Williams and Omarion Hampton at running back, Justin Jefferson and Amon-Ra St. Brown at wide receiver. My tight end is Tyler Warren. Kind of waited a little bit too long to take a tight end, but I think Warren will be good. And then Xavier Worthy at my flex right now. My defense is the Minnesota Vikings and Chris Boswell. My bench, got some solid guys. Trevion Henderson, Tony Pollard, Travis Hunter, Chris Olave, Jordan Love, Khalil Shakir. So, solid fantasy team there. No Flacco, 10-team league. I think I'm in 3 leagues and they're only 10 teams. But yeah, I had a plan to where I was hoping Justin Jefferson was to fall to me at number 4. Thankfully, he did. Saw Bijan, Saquon, and Chase go ahead of me. So I picked up Jefferson, and it was my whole idea to go team purple pretty much, get Jay Jettas in round 1 and hopefully get Derrick Henry in round 2. But Henry went 1 pick before me. I was in a solid spot because the dude picking before me in the snake draft, he had the choice between Amon-Ra and Henry. He took Henry. Would have loved to have Henry as my RB1, but couldn't pass on Amon-Ra at that point. Yeah, good team. Thank you. I got a couple of fantasy teams here, but I think that one's going to be my winner this year. Got another one where I think I got Jamar Chase. Got a couple of Buccaneer players. Flacco, I'm sure you'll like that. I think I got Baker Mayfield and Bucky Irvin on the same team. Terry McLaurin as well. And then my third team here, Bo Nix as my quarterback. Josh Jacobs and Kyron Williams at running back. CeeDee Lamb, JSN at wide receiver. Travis Kelce, tight end. Got a flex wide receiver, Mike Williams. Man, Mike Williams, he's kind of Flacco. I'm pretty sure you're like the same way down there in Tampa. Mike Williams is like that one guy, old, reliable, that you got to try to make sure you get in every single draft. Bench is mad, but we'll see soon. Yeah, trying to upgrade the bench. I'm one of those guys, and people probably hate me for it, where I send out trade offers as soon as the draft is done. Package a couple late guys for maybe one good guy. Hopefully there's someone willing to take it. Harbaugh is going to run it. Yeah, pound the rock there. And man, the Chargers, they are one of the more underrated teams in the league this year. You got Justin Herbert, who I think a lot of people are doubting now that he's got Keenan Allen, and there was some wide receiver they drafted. That'll be good. Najee and Omari and Hampton in the backfield. I think it's going to be a good year. Only downside, for the Chargers for me is that they lost Rashawn Slater for the year. But we'll see. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to get into the more Pittsburgh sports news segment here of the program. Just some loose news stories for the day that we are not going to get too in deep on. Going to start that here in a moment. Real quick, let's take a stroll through Twitter real quick, see if there's anything, any new pieces of information or any new reports or stories since we've been live for us to look at here. I'm not sure if there's anything here. Let me go this way instead. Looks like we got a bit of Penguins news. Bartlett Hockey, a player management group, is bringing in Penguins minor league prospect Tristan Brose under their umbrella. Congratulations to him. Do have a bit of Penguins news to talk about today. Not much. They are back practicing informally at the UPMC Lemieux Sports Complex. All right, ladies and gentlemen, just like I said, we are going to get into some extra Pittsburgh sports news. Back into football here for a quick sec. We talked about the Pittsburgh Steelers. They practiced today. We got the first injury report of the season out. Nick Herbig, the only questionable player for the Steelers ahead of this Sunday's game. The Jets, however, their opponent, they are taking big hits to their team. First one today. Hopefully Cam Heyward is able to play, or hopefully Cam Heyward chooses to play, is more accurately stated this weekend, because he will be going up against a backup guard, maybe. Elijah Vera Tucker, guard for the New York Jets. He is at least out for this opening game of the season. He is dealing with an arm injury that they say is significant. Initial feelings are that Vera Tucker suffered a season-ending torn tricep, according to Adam Schefter. So the Steelers and their defensive line, they have a solid chance to eat here this weekend, because TJ Watt's going to be going up against a rookie right tackle in Armand Membo. And then now you got a backup guard in there as well. So hopefully the Steelers' front seven can get to the backfield, cause some havoc for the Jets running game and Justin Fields. Also, the Jets, Sauce Gardner, their top corner, according to Mike Garafolo, he is dealing with a calf injury. He was a limited participant in practice today. It is a fibula injury specifically, according to Garafolo. I wonder if that's something serious, or if Sauce Gardner's sort of in the same camp as Nick Herbig, where it's like, hey, this is just something he's, looking to manage until he gets to Sunday. So we'll see. The full New York Jets injury report ahead of their matchup against the Steelers this weekend. Sauce Gardner and backup quarterback Tyrod Taylor, they are limited for the Jets. Those who did not practice for the Jets in their practice today, Elijah Vera Tucker, like we said, suffering a significant injury, and familiar name. Honestly, did not know he was in New York until right now. Chuks Okorafor is in New York with the Jets. He did not practice today for the Jets with a hand injury. Had no clue that Chukwuma Okorafor, former Steeler tackle, who then had a quick cup of coffee with the New England Patriots. No clue he was in New York until kind of crazy. Speaking of the Steelers, they their roster, at least practice squad wise, constantly in flux. We talked about it yesterday. Over the weekend, yesterday they released Robert Woods from the practice squad. They brought in linebacker John Radigan. They made another move today. I guess this is taking the place of Robert Woods on the practice squad. Lance McCutcheon, who is with the team all training camp, is back on the practice squad. The Steelers released offensive lineman Aiden Williams, who was, a third, fourth string guy, I believe, dealt with injury a little bit. So that is the latest on the Steelers practice squad. Couple other new stories relating to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Big Ben, on his podcast, Footballin', had lavishing praise for the Steelers and what they could possibly do this year, saying this team is built to go to the Super Bowl. I certainly would hope so, Ben, with all the moves and wheeling and dealing Omar Khan has done this offseason. Saying that this team is built to go to the Super Bowl. Kind of agree there. Will they get there? That's a whole nother question that it's going to be hard for them to do so, in my opinion. Lots of different things will need to go right for them. Also praising the Steelers, JJ Watt, TJ Watt's brother. He was on the Pat McAfee show today. He said that the Steelers offense could be very intriguing to watch throughout the year with all the new faces they have on that side of the ball. Couple other stories here relating to the black and gold. Keeping tabs on the Steelers' division rivals once again. This came out yesterday. The Cleveland Browns and running back Quinshon Judkins, their second-round pick out of Ohio State, they have agreed to terms on a 4-year, fully guaranteed contract, according to Marvin Parcells, who covers the NFL for CBS. This deal has not been signed officially yet. It will be agreed upon once the NFL finishes their full investigation of Quinshon Judkins and the legal issues that he has been going through, which has left him unsigned up until this point. Parcells ends his report of this saying that multiple league sources have been told that a suspension is likely, and it will be in the 2 to 4 game range. So, rookie running back from Ohio State, he was up there in my rankings for the Steelers to take. Now, all of a sudden, looking quite all right that the Steelers didn't take Judkins, facing a 2 to 4 game suspension. But he will be a Cleveland Brown once whatever goes on with his situation is resolved. Speaking of the Browns, today, Ralph Vacciano of Fox, of NFL on Fox, came out with his final power rankings heading into the 2025 NFL season. And the Browns, number 32 on the list for the team power rankings. Looking at where some other teams here line up, the Cincinnati Bengals, another divisional opponent for the Steelers, they wind up at number 8. The Baltimore Ravens, no surprise, all the way up at number 2, right behind the Philadelphia Eagles. The Steelers, sandwiched in between the Bengals and the Ravens at number 6, just ahead of the Washington Commanders, who made the NFC Championship game a year ago, and just behind the Green Bay Packers, who just got Micah Parsons. So Steelers in some lofty company there. Also, some other notable teams that the Steelers are ahead of: the Detroit Lions, almost said San Diego, the LA Chargers, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, LA Rams, Minnesota Vikings, San Francisco 49ers. So that is that. Wrapping up some NFL talk here for the day. Roger Goodell, NFL commissioner, according to on the Today Show, says that adding an 18th game to the NFL regular season would likely push the Super Bowl back to President's Day weekend. So Goodell's still talking about an 18-game season. I'd be okay with it. Have an 18-game regular season. Have 2 bye weeks in there. Extend football out as long as possible. The more football, the better. I don't think any of us are going to complain about that. Ended on President's Day. So looks like that's going to be coming maybe next year. Who knows? And wrapping up the extra football talk for today, back-to-back days with birthdays. Yesterday, Terry Bradshaw had his birthday. Today, Big Snack, Casey Hampton, celebrating his birthday, Super Bowl champion. So happy birthday to him. Switching up gears real quick, back into some baseball talk. We talked about the Pittsburgh Pirates. They about to square off with the LA Dodgers momentarily. However, down on the farm, we've not talking about it every day, but I, at least, as I'm sure a ton of other people have been keeping a close eye on Connor Griffin and how he is doing, the Pirates' top prospect down there in Double-A. A scary moment last night. He was in the 7th inning of the ball game in Altoona last night, hit in the head with a 97 mile-an-hour fastball. Griffin went down, kind of predictable. Did sit up right away and stayed in the ball game, went to first base, all that good stuff. So scary incident with what appears to be no negative effects from it. Thankfully, that's the case for Connor Griffin, who is on a rocket ship to the major leagues right now. Also, interesting scenario. Will Bednar, little brother of David Bednar, was the one who hit Griffin there. So interesting there. Speaking of Bucco prospects, congratulations to Edward Florentino. He officially enters the MLB Pipeline Top 100 Prospects list following the graduation of Diamondbacks infielder Jordan Lawler. So he is at number 100. One of the biggest surprises, if not the biggest surprise, down in the minor leagues for the Bucks this year. 18 years old, has a 960 OPS and 35 steals. Was with the Bradenton Marauders, and then I believe is with the Greensboro Grasshoppers right now. He, Esmeralyn Valdez, Connor Griffin, lots of good stuff happening in the minor leagues for an individual performance-wise for the Bucks this year. Wrapping up the extra Pittsburgh sports news segment for the day, like I mentioned, Pittsburgh Penguins hockey. They play hockey preseason-wise, at least this month, and the team slowly getting back together at the UPMC Lemieux Sports Complex this morning. Some of the players were getting back together informally. Ryan Shea and Connor Dewar amongst the skaters there. 4 goalies were in the building for the Pens, including new goaltender Arthur's Shilov's still gonna butcher his name probably throughout the whole year. So at least a good sign. Hockey is right around the corner, ladies and gentlemen. Sure, it'll probably be a rough year for the Bucks, but hey, will be exciting to cover Sid and the gang once again anyways. Let's go to the comments section here real quick. A couple more comments from Flacco. Mike Evans is a god here, but I'm a Steeler fanatic. Only root for the Bucks because they're NFC. Yeah, if I had to pick, an NFC team, it'd probably be the Buccaneers or the Lions. Honestly, I think I've developed a strange, fandom of Baker Mayfield just because the Browns ruined him here. Also, I like the moxie he brings, but yeah, Mike Evans is a dog. So yeah, he's kind of my guy. I go through all the time. Mike Evans and Hulk Hogan are Tampa Bay. Yeah, unfortunately, you lost one of those. So my condolences, Flacco. But Mike Evans, he is that dude. Real quick, take one last stroll here through Twitter. See if we got anything new before logging off here for the evening and before the Pittsburgh Pirates and their matchup against the LA Dodgers gets underway. Not seeing anything else here. Also, baseball-wise, apparently there was something big that went down between the Colorado Rockies and San Francisco Giants. They had a big bench clearing. Looking here, seeing if there is anything else for the day. Didn't talk about this yesterday, or at least it was, passing by. How about Bill Belichick's debut with UNC the other night? Yikes. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, not seeing anything monumental here. I think that will do it for the night here on the channel. Do want to once again say thank you to all of you who joined here tonight and participated. Flacco, THP, Concepts, everyone who commented, all of you who stayed here throughout the evening. I appreciate it very, very much. We will be back here tomorrow and Friday to wrap up the week, and then Sunday we'll be here in this room, live commentary and reaction to the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the New York Jets. Football so close, we can almost taste it. Lots to talk about between now and then, and lots to talk about on Sunday. But until then, thank you. Have a good rest of your Wednesday night. Back here tomorrow, we will recap what goes on here between the Dodgers and the Pittsburgh Pirates. Also, we'll talk about any new pieces of Steelers news. So with that, thank you. One final time, subscribe to the channel. Turn on notifications if you have not done so already. Like this live stream, share this live stream, leave a comment after the fact. Go give the channel a follow at Steel City SR on the following social media platforms, and tune back in later tonight for SCSR 60. Thank you. Have a good rest of your Wednesday night. Back here tomorrow. Peace.